It is Thursday, August 12th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who hasn't been around tree sap in weeks because lumber goo is not an option. J.P. Shadrick.
Welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday afternoon as the Jaguars get ready for the Cleveland Browns in preseason week 1. That's coming up Saturday night at 7 o'clock. We've got a busy show ahead. In fact, 2 hours coming up on Jaguars Happy Hour. Preseason week 1 is here. Finally, some football or something close to football Saturday night at TIAA Bank Field. The quarterback conversation is hot today. We'll hear from head coach Urban Meyer coming up. And he had some things to say before practice today about the quarterback time. He didn't announce a starter yet for Saturday night's game. We'll hear from Sirius XM radio host Jim Miller at 4:15, former Jags quarterback. He wore number 12 in 1997, but not for long. Jeff Lageman at 4:30 will join us. And then we'll have a second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network. That's at 5 o'clock, including a preview of our Publix Tailgate Show interview with cornerback Shaquille Griffin. And he's got a surprise for the fans wearing number 26. If you have those jerseys. If you don't, you might want to get those. News of the day, Jaguars back on the practice field Thursday. The preparation continues for the preseason opener against those Cleveland Browns. Head coach Urban Meyer, before practice, was asked about the quarterback situation coming up Saturday night.
Well, we'll finalize that tonight. I asked Shadi and Bevan, but they'll both play. A lot of it's who's going to be behind. We just want to make sure we have protect both those quarterbacks, but both will play.
It sounds like a little bit what happens on the offensive line could affect that, but both will play. He was not ready to name a starter. He said they'll have meetings tonight to truly determine who at least runs out of the tunnel first and onto the field. They'll both play, as you heard Urban Meyer say there. After practice, Trevor Lawrence said he isn't worried much about the playing time. The plan is the same for him going into the game.
Yeah, I know I'm going to play, so that's just, if I know I'm going to play, I'm going to be prepared, and that's the way I'm looking at it. So how much, don't really know for sure. Sure a fair amount, so just going to be ready for whatever I have. I know me and Gardner will play.
We'll hear a little later from Trevor Lawrence deeper in his knowledge of the playbook so far in this Jaguars offense as the rookie quarterback gets ready for his first opportunity in Jaguars teal. We did hear from earlier this week offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. He said Lawrence is in a fantastic spot when it comes to learning the offense.
Trevor's done well. There was 2 days in there. We moved him back a little bit. And I think he responded. I think it's, like I've told you guys, he's really into it. It's really super important to him. He's working hard every day. Brian Schottenheimer's doing a hell of a job with him. So he's in good hands that way. But the last couple days, like the last 4, you can kind of see him continue to make that climb again.
There was a little bit of hang-up early in camp. Maybe not a hang-up. That might be too aggressive of a statement, but the 6th or 7th practice or so, Darrell Bevell said, you know what, it might have piled up on him a little bit today. Some of the installation, doing it over and over again, kind of caught up with him. They weren't as crisp in practice. Some of the alignments were off. Well, they've gone back and retraced their steps, it feels like, a few times in getting this offense together, and you hear the confidence there from the offensive coordinator. By the way, Bevell will be in the press box, in the coach's box, throughout the season. He'll have communication with Urban Meyer on the field. Brian Schottenheimer will be on the field offensively as well, getting the plays in to whatever quarterback is wearing the coach-to-quarterback communication system in their helmet. Well, the other quarterback, of course, at least of note in this conversation right now, is Gardner Minshew II. His performance in camp has really impressed head coach Urban Meyer.
I didn't know Minshew. I knew his coach very well, Mike Leach, and to say we didn't, I don't say we got off to a bad start, but I just didn't see very much of him. But he's earned my respect. I love that guy. He's a warrior competitor. He's a fighter. I told him that. I just got great respect for Minshew.
Yeah, and he has had a solid camp. I think that's probably a best way to say it. And Urban Meyer told him in the past that, hey, you're going to give you an opportunity, and Minshew said as such, a little while back when he spoke with the media. That's all I asked of them, and that's what they've given me, an opportunity. And he's been out there a lot. They've been alternating reps with the first-team offense throughout training camp, and I'm sure that'll be the case at least tomorrow night. Now, what the future holds, who knows? It feels like he's been the most consistent of the other three quarterbacks that aren't named Trevor Lawrence in training camp so far. Does that mean he sticks around as if Trevor Lawrence wins the job, if you will? Does he stick around? Does that value increase and then moves are made down the line? Can't speculate that here. But either way, it's good to have multiple quarterbacks having good camps. That is allowed. That's just fine. And we'll see what Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew II have in mind tomorrow night. Now, up front, it's a big storyline this week. The offensive line for the Jaguars, all five guys, of course, return for the 2021 season. Cam Robinson on the left side, the left tackle, spoke with the media Wednesday, and he was asked about Walker Little. He says he has a good relationship with Walker Little. That's about all he had to say, though. He did talk a lot about the culture that head coach Urban Meyer has instilled here in Jacksonville and is familiar to his old college days.
Yeah, it was exciting. I think that's huge. Guys who've done it before, you know what I'm saying? Like you just mentioned, the winning culture, and I know he comes from that, and that's all he would accept. So I think that was big for me, and I think that's big for the whole organization. I think the approach to not accepting nothing but anybody's best. If it's not up to his standard, then it's unacceptable. If it's not up to, what we're trying to get done, then it's not acceptable, and it won't be accepted.
Yeah, it won't be accepted here. That's the way things have changed a bit with Urban Meyer at the helm. Of course, Cam Robinson played at Alabama under Nick Saban. Similar mindset there, so he's used to this type of coaching and philosophy, and when you walk in the building every day, and especially when you're running that practice field, you better be ready to give everything you have. Well, he knows that anyway, and certainly in a one-year deal for Cam Robinson, $13.7 million guaranteed in this franchise tag deal that he signed, the one-year fully guaranteed deal. They did draft Walker Little behind him. Little has not had any reps, at least that we've seen, with the first-team offense as of yet. They have been cross-training Little, some left tackle earlier in camp. This past week or so has been playing a lot of the right side. But then the last day or two, Little has moved back to the left side. In the first depth chart that came out in the game release earlier this week, Walker Little is listed as a left tackle behind Cam Robinson for what it's worth. Of course, all jobs are up as a competition in training camp, at least this early in training camp, with about a month away. Actually, a month today away from the start of the regular season. Let's move to the defensive side of the ball, and plenty of thoughts on that side. A lot of change over there, a lot of new faces for this Jags defense. Face coming back from last season, though, hoping for a step up as defensive end and outside linebacker K'Lavon Chaisson. And, boy, he's excited about this new defense and what that could mean for the team and himself in the season ahead.
We rolling out there. It's fast, man. We come in from all different types of ways, and this defense it's a lot of confidence coming in, and just I feel like just what's different about this year, we all kind of trusting each other as far as everybody's kind of trusting that I'm gonna do my job. I know Shaq gonna do his job, Josh gonna do his job, so it's getting fun out there, and then especially when you competing out there and you making plays and you're going against the number one pick who don't look like number one, look like a pro already, so it's like. When you rush and hurry back, get to the quarterback, me and Josh trying to compete, get back there, and he throwing dimes. It's like, dang, come on. But it's fun, though. Just being in his defense and just being in his atmosphere right now is fun.
K'Lavon Chaisson is listed as a first-string outside linebacker on the initial game release this week, opposite of Josh Allen on the other side. Joe Schobert, Miles Jack are the Mike and Will linebackers, respectively. And it would be nice to see Chaisson step up and step into a bigger role this season. Well, maybe a change in that defense a little bit with an opportunity to stand up. He has that athletic ability to chase some guys down the field if he needs to, go out in coverage a little bit. But, boy, if he can get to the passer with that speed he has around the edge and standing up, and that's kind of his game, or it was at LSU at least, get back to that. That wasn't the case last year for Chaisson. A little bit of a disappointing – well, for everyone, it was a disappointing season a year ago, but certainly for K'Lavon Chaisson, who tried to fight through his rookie season. Now he's ready to take that next step. Coming up a little later in the second hour of Jaguars Happy Hour, we're going to hear from Shaquille Griffin, and the corner who's now in his fifth NFL season, rather. He came in as a free agent from the Seattle Seahawks, and he loves the Urban Meyer mentality and the idea of Urban being on the field as early as he is every day and trying to take an opportunity to go visit with most every player he can as they walk out on the field and set the tone for the day. And we'll hear Shaquille Griffin's thoughts on those conversations, and he'll give us a little insight to what he and Urban discuss on nearly a daily basis before practice begins on the Dreamfinders Homes practice complex. So we're looking forward to that. That'll come up a little bit later in our preview of Sunday's conversation, or Saturday night's conversation, rather, in the Publix tailgate show. Plenty ahead. We are off and running on Jaguars Happy Hour. We'll come back in a moment with Jim Miller, Sirius XM radio host, former Jaguars quarterback for a very, very short time, and get his thoughts on what the Jaguars are up to these days. Jeff Lageman coming up at 4:30 today. Season tickets, single game tickets, group tickets. You can be a part of the new era of Jaguars football and own it. Visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by TIAA Bank, created to serve, built to perform. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. And Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Jacksonville Sports Talk for Jacksonville sports fans. 1010XL. home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But it's on the players to hold each other accountable, and I wish I did that more when I was here, right? I wish I was more accountable to my teammates, telling guys that they weren't working hard to work harder. And if he didn't like it, that's okay, right? You guys have a great nucleus of guys that can do some great things here. This city deserves it. You guys are working your butts off. I'm watching. I've been to 10 training camps so far. I haven't seen a camp like this ever, right? I haven't seen guys compete like you guys. I was actually telling, there's some camps, I'm like, no one of these teams are going 8-8, right? No one of these teams are going 7-9 or whatever the new record will be. But the way you guys are working, you got to keep doing that, right? That's how you win games. You got to work hard constantly. You got to hold each other accountable.
That is Maurice Jones-Drew breaking down the Jaguars after practice earlier this week. He was in with NFL Network and addressed the team right after the workout. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Veterans, choose VA for the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Welcome back. JP Shadrick with you on Jaguars Happy Hour. Good to hear from Mojo there. His interview with Ashwin Sullivan available on Jaguars.com currently, and he said it was great to visit with him the other day, by the way. He hasn't been over here in a long, long time to see the Jaguars. It sounds like he, if this London game continues, which it sounds like it's on track still, he will be with the team in some capacity over there for some events around the game. That would be good news. I know he's excited. He's done a lot of work in the UK on television over the last year or so with the BBC, so I'm sure he's looking forward to that. Also is the analyst for Los Angeles Rams radio on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis in the booth. And is, of course, the Jaguars' career leader in touchdowns. 81 career touchdowns, 68 rushing touchdowns, also a franchise record. Let's hear from another Jaguar. He doesn't have any Jaguar records because he played only a very short piece of the 1997 season. And, in fact, he didn't even get in a game. But he's Jim Miller from Sirius XM Radio, who was here at camp today. Was a quarterback with a number of different teams in the NFL. Steelers, the Jags, Falcons, Bears for a little while, the Buccaneers and the Patriots. His last year in the league was 2004. Had some time in Europe as well. He's currently the Bears preseason television analyst. He's headed back to Chicago tomorrow to check out the Bears preseason opener, but he had plenty of thoughts about the Jaguars organization, Urban Meyer, and the quarterback position here in Jacksonville.
So let's get to it. The Jaguars have a new head coach in Urban Meyer settling in. He's super consistent in his message. He'll never deviate, whether it's in media, in front of the team. He has those standards of excellence, and I'm curious, everybody is, if that can translate to the NFL. So far, it feels like the guys have bought in.
Yeah, I think he's an artful communicator. I think he's very good at it. Just even noticing out here at practice, he's a very hands-on coach. Anybody that I saw, like I listed 3 guys. He had Ozigbo, who he called on. They were doing some shed blocking drills where he was hands-on from there. Chappelle, the linebacker, as well, had Chark out there. So it's almost like the Price is Right. He calls them out like, come on down, you're next up. I'm going to coach you up and do some things with you. And part of it is getting to know the players, and I'm sure he's getting to know all these guys right now, and they're going to have some difficult decisions because they're, I think it's competitive across the board here. I really do. I think everybody's got a clean slate from the players that were here and the players that they brought in, whether it's through free agency, and there's a lot of them now. They're obviously going to get opportunities here, and they know there's some open spots, and it's a clean slate for all.
Urban even this morning said they're still a quarterback competition, and that would be the case going in maybe all the way to week 1 against Houston. Do you buy it?
No, I agree with it. I think that they're ultimately going to make a decision. I think everybody just kind of by default thinks it's going to be Trevor Lawrence is going to get in there. But you can't just throw the kid to the wolves. Darrell Bevel, who I know well, I played against him in college and know him as a coach, they're going to know where he's at. Can he protect himself? Can he, does he understand the blitzes, the hot routes, the audibles, all those things? And that's going to show itself. So I think, for coach, I don't know why any coach would just declare the position open, especially when you've got a young guy coming in. I give the example of Wilson up there for the New York Jets. Unfortunately, Greg Knapp passes away, And that kid's not insulated right now. There's not a veteran around him that has really played, and it's a young team that have a lot of competitive spots. I think it's much better here for Trevor Lawrence, but I think he's got to show all those things, not just throw him to the wolves. If he's earned the position, when he's ready to play, he'll get out there, and obviously that's a credit to Gardner Minshew to really coming out and competing. He hasn't conceded anything, and he's making it a competitive room for Trevor Lawrence.
Is the future of, if it goes Trevor Lawrence's way, does Gardner Minshew stick around here as the backup? Does he have value elsewhere in the league? How do you see his value?
Well, you listen to Urban Meyer. He said, hey, this isn't a 4-year plan. It's a 1-year plan. And I would think Gardner comes in with the most experience that, God forbid, if Trevor were to go down to injury, I think Gardner gives you a better chance to win. And no offense to C.J. Beathard. He has played from his standpoint, but to me, Minshew's a physical upgrade to him. So to me, I think there's value in keeping Minshew here.
You lift out Jake Luton, the young arm guy. He's a project, though. It's going to take a little more time.
Yeah, no, I like Jake Luton. He's got a big arm. Again, he got his feet wet last year, wasn't ready from that standpoint. So he's still marinating. So they're going to have, obviously, a decision to make about the backup. But I think if Trevor were to go down, if he is the starter, I think Minshew definitely gives you an opportunity where you're going to be competitive in games.
Jim Miller with us from Moving the Chains on Sirius XM Radio, Channel 88, NFL Radio. All right, offensive line continuity. All 5 starters are back. They've added Walker Little. They've got some projects on the interior they're working on the last couple of years also. But having that continuity and the offensive line coach back says a lot about that group, that there was some positive performance up front, especially in the run game a year ago.
Yeah, I really like the offensive line here, like you said, because they played together. A lot of teams don't have 5 guys coming back like that. And, for Cam, I think we knew if everything were to play out right, he plays this year under the franchise tag, and you'd like to think Walker Little has the opportunity. It sounds like Walker's been very competitive this camp. I've talked to a former NFL offensive line coach, Paul Alexander, and he actually knows this kid very well. He's very competitive. He thinks he's going to be really a top-tier player in the NFL. But again, until he's ready, I think he'll be in that swing tackle spot, and then just like that nice process of maturation that maybe he steps in next year, and we'll see how it plays out. But they drafted a very good offensive lineman here.
We got Cam Robinson on the one-year franchise deal, $13.7 million, and he bristled a bit the other day when we was asked about Walker Little, but that's what competition's about.
Yeah, I mean, and it's across the NFL, and, Cam's got a lot on the line. He knows he's got to go out there and prove it from his standpoint. Maybe this is his home if he really shows out and balls out the way he's capable of doing. But if the price tag gets too high, supposedly you got a guy who's ready to supplant him, who I think is going to be a very good offensive lineman when it's all said and done.
Jim Miller with us from Sirius XM Radio. Defensively, this whole thing is brand new. Joe Cullen comes in, his first opportunity as a defensive coordinator in the NFL. He's coming from that Baltimore system. He said they're going to blitz from all over. They'll have guys in different packages. So I guess Baltimore's scheme is probably the closest to this, you'd say?
I think it's going to be a hybrid. And obviously when you sign guys who I know well, Roy Robertson-Harris, he's a very versatile defensive lineman. He's an ascending player. And then, like you said, with guys you got on the edge, with McCray, you look at Josh Allen. Unfortunately for him, he missed some time last year, expecting big things in terms of the pass rush. You got good, beefy interior defensive linemen like Hamilton. And Roy Robertson-Harris, to me, he's such a good athlete. He can line up in a lot of different places. So I think Joe Cullen's going to manipulate that a little bit. Typically, that's what Baltimore's done. They've dealt with some hybrid type of situations and a lot of different looks, but you got to have the corners to cover. You need C.J. Henderson to obviously be healthy, and Shaq Griffin, I think this was a nice home. That's a nice signing here from the outside from that standpoint. But C.J., obviously getting him up and going is going to be a big part of it, because you can only blitz if you got guys on the back end who can really deal with that man coverage.
What was Roy Robertson-Harris's highlight in Chicago? It felt like the Bears the last couple of years just kind of kept having him around, and he kept getting better and better, but now was his chance to come get a big free agent paycheck.
Well, like I said, I think he's an ascending player. The problem for him is Bilal Nichols has really jumped as well. But when Roy Robertson-Harris, every time he got in the game, he flashed. He was making plays, tackles for loss, would get sacks here, hits on the quarterback, was versatile where they could move him around. Because people don't understand, when he came out of college, he had a big weight fluctuation, what he was asking. He's kind of transformed his body and has worked hard, and I think he's going to excel down here in Jacksonville, just specifically with what Joe Cullen is going to ask him to do with his versatility.
Final thought with you. What's the win-loss totals this year for the Jags?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, I think it's obviously going to be better than last year. I really believe that. I think they'll be able to run the football. You've got versatile athletes at the receiver position, like what they'll be able to do with ATN. Even if he lines up in the slot, I think he's almost like a James White player, but he's more explosive where you can get the home run touchdown from that standpoint. But, yeah, I think we know this is a process. Urban has probably never had a losing record. I know that for a fact in college. It may sting a little bit, but you're hoping 8-8, but or I shouldn't say that, 8-9 because now there's a 17th game. But I'm hoping if they can make that jump where they're in that 7 to 8 win tier, I think you're looking at a success.
Jim Miller from Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88. Good to catch up with him today on the practice field as the Jaguars continue their preparation. Yeah, Roy Robertson-Harris, he had a firsthand look in Chicago the last few years at him, and it was great to hear his thoughts on what Robertson-Harris could bring, and I think we've seen that early in camp as well. There's been some moments where that big fella in the middle or toward the interior steps up and makes some plays on defense. Let's see it in some real games coming up, maybe a little bit in the preseason, but that's a good sign. And, Roy Robertson-Harris so far is right there at the number one spot at defensive end on the depth chart that came out the other day. So he's slated as a starter as it stands right now on the defensive line. And then his thoughts on Travis Etienne, quite interesting. James White was a comparison maybe that Etienne could be like in the NFL, how they could use him out of that backfield spot. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing what Etienne can bring. By the way, we're going through depth charts. Etienne is third on the depth chart currently. James Robinson or Carlos Hyde are number one, and then it's Etienne and Dario Gunbowale. Ozigbo, Cottrell are down there as well. Plenty ahead. We'll come back in a moment. Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, joining us. Check out the official Jaguars podcast network, a free subscription on Apple iTunes or Spotify. We've got this show every Thursday. Huddle up with Bucky Brooks, Jags Drive Time. Give us that 5-star rating. And it's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes. Homes that fit your lifestyle. Next Grill. Everyone's invited. And Adecco. Visit AdeccoUSA.com.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com. The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Committed to the team. Committed to the mission. At Navy Mutual, we're committed to providing high-quality life insurance to members of the military and their families. So our policies have no fine print and no military service restrictions. We don't work on commission. We're nonprofit, so we pass the savings along to our members. Because at Navy Mutual, our highest commitment is to you. Visit NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Veterans, you may have earned a variety of VA benefits. Did you know VA can help you further your education and pursue professional training? The Home Loan Guarantee Program can help you buy, repair, or adapt a home. VA provides housing support if you find yourself homeless or at risk of homelessness. And don't forget world-class health care. Learn more about these and other VA benefits. Visit choose.va.gov.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I just met with all the units on the team, and I think, to be fair, what's the expectation? And the expectation is I want a clean game. You know, we spent an inordinate amount of time on fundamentals of the game. And I expect a winner mentality that every play, you know, the reality is that there's people across from you trying to take your job. You're trying to, you know, some of these guys are in survival mode, and I respect that. And so how do we, you know, we're going to back off a lot of the 2s and 3s. They're going to play a majority of the game, 40-plus plays, get their legs back, because a lot of guys are blown out right now. So a clean game, taking care of the football, hustling on and off the field, and then competitors. Every play is going to be graded, and you either win the rep or you lose the rep. And I'm hoping you see a real competitive group Saturday.
That's head coach Urban Meyer this morning before practice. His expectations for Saturday night's preseason opener, the Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns, coming up. JP Shadrick on Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman joining us. And good afternoon, Logs.
It is a good afternoon.
It is.
Yeah, it was a good practice today, another spirited practice, but a no-padded practice. A little surprising.
That's the first thing you said when I saw you when we walked out of the practice field together. What in the world are they doing out here?
And Urban just talked about why, because the guy's legs are kind of shot, and he's talking about the 2s and the 3s and the 4s to some extent. Those guys are going to get a lot of reps. And I've always been a big believer in this, but it didn't mean that the coaches that I played for were on the same page as me, because that wasn't their job to be on the same page as me. But I was always a big believer in that you've got to let the players rest, because if you really want to have an accurate accounting of what their abilities are, then why not get them and their bodies ready to show you what they can do, what they really can do. Not when they're fatigued and their camp legs are weary, but when they're at their best and they're fresh and ready to go. Because is that not the situation that you want to have them perform in at the end of the day?
If it's really all about the players and increasing their value and making sure things are great all around, that's part of that too.
And right. To kind of a lot of people might be out there saying, what are you talking about? To give you a comparison, and go back to the Coughlin era, he was always about get the work in, and then we never really backed off prior to the preseason games early on in the preseason. He backed off a little bit when we got into the regular season. And so I always thought that the evaluation was a little bit slanted because the players weren't fresh to play a game. Like when we went to the Hall of Fame game in 1995, I mean, our legs weren't fresh underneath of us at all. So how do you really know what a guy can do if he wasn't even fresh and ready to go in a game-type situation? So I like Urban's way of thinking here, because that is the evaluation that you want. I mean, you want to be able to look at guys in a game setting, because I've seen too many guys that were all Duval and then couldn't make the All-State team. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. It sounds like it brings up another conversation too about the approach to the preseason games this year. In the past, of course, at least in the recent past, there have been 4 preseason games. Back in the old days, it was 6 or 7 if you're in the Hall of Fame game, all that. That's a long time ago. Now down to 3, with basically you have 2 weeks from the final preseason game to the first regular season game, with the final cut in there on that Tuesday after the Sunday game. That is a lot of time, and how do you manage reps and playing time? It feels like there are a lot of different strategies, at least in week 1.
I don't think there's any clear-cut formula that's that's better than one or another. I think everything really needs to be patterned or custom fit to your football team. If you've got a young football team and it needs reps, and team is a perfect example of that, then I think you give them reps. If you have a football team that's veteran, then you give them just enough to maybe tune up. Look at what Andy Reid's talking about doing with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's talking about having Patrick Mahomes play a quarter or something close to it in the first preseason game.
About that.
Now,
must be healthy.
What will the approach be? Because here's the thing. In the last couple of years, it's been kind of vogue to not play guys at all. And there's some guys I think that you could probably take that approach with. Do you need to find out if A.J. Cann is going to be a good right guard or a solid right guard? I know that.
I think he's going to be okay.
Do I know that Leonard's going to be okay at center? Yeah, I got a pretty good idea.
Now, they might have a personal, hey, we want to get flowing at least one game just to get something. You know,
Well,
I think Calais was a little bit like that. I want to get a little bit of something done in a couple of games.
I'm a big believer in that you should get reps. I'm not a big believer. I'm not on the train that says don't play your guys in the preseason at all. But with the 3 preseason games, a lot of people are saying, well, will the 3rd preseason game become what the 4th preseason game used to be where nobody plays? Well, no, you've got 2 weeks to be able to have off between the last preseason game and the first regular season game. So I think there's no approach that's right. I'm a big believer in that you got to give guys some just to get them ready, especially the younger they are, the more they need, but you don't overdo it either. If you know a guy can play, because, part of this process of the preseason is also about evaluation. It's an aid to allow the personnel people and the coaches to say, this is our 53. And if you look at it from that standpoint, you don't need to overdo it as well.
JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on a Thursday afternoon, preseason week 1. The Jags and the Browns coming up this Saturday night. So, Coach Lageman, how long will Trevor Lawrence play?
I don't know. I mean, if it were me making the decision, if I'm Coach Lageman, I'm probably having him play a quarter and a half, maybe.
That long?
Sure.
Alternating with Minshew with the ones. It feels like they're both going to get time.
Here's the thing. I want to have Trevor Lawrence out there with my number 1 offensive line. That's me.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And Urban earlier today kind of hinted at that in one of his answers about playing time. They're both going to play, got to see about what up front and all that. Didn't really go all the way with that answer, but it felt like he was going that direction.
Yeah, I would like to have him protected. And the best way to protect him is to play him with that number 1 offensive line. Now, there's some guys maybe that you could sub in and out of there. For example, if Linder, for example, goes out, Shatley's in, that doesn't worry me.
He started so many games.
Yeah, Tyler Shatley's a good football player. So if Walker Little comes out at left tackle or goes in at left tackle and Cam Robinson comes out, that doesn't worry me.
It doesn't.
No.
The guy hasn't played a snap in the league yet.
I don't care if he hasn't played a snap or not in the league. Watch the guy practice.
Okay.
He's pretty good.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's certain situations, but, and who starts first and who starts second. I'm sure the coaching staff is going to talk about that at some point tonight. I think is that what
they said tonight. Yeah, they said tonight. Yeah.
So, I mean, however that plays out is however it plays out. But I would just, however it plays out, I want my number 1 offensive line with Trevor Lawrence. Okay?
I'll say this, though. Fans around here have been waiting a long, long time to hear the announcement of number 16, Trevor Lawrence, and him run out of that tunnel. I know they're probably going to run out as a team as that goes these days, but to see him run out and then run into the game first, that'll be a fun moment.
Look, I'm with you. I want to hear his name announced because I want to be able to hear and feel the fan reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it will be, if it does happen, it will be something that you'll remember. I mean, especially if we're talking about a player that we look back 10, 15 years from now and there's multiple Super Bowl participations and victories that are on the table, and you sit there and I remember that moment, the first time he was ever announced. I mean, you'll go back to that moment. And so, I'd like to hear it too. I'd like to hear it in a big way. And I can tell you this, watching him in practice today, and JP, you've said it to me before, and we've talked about this. You say that there's typically 3 or 4 balls that you see in practice and you go, oh my God, wow. He had that one today. There
Yes,
was
he
one
did.
of them. It was that deep ball.
Marvin Jones.
There was the Marvin Jones, and did he catch it? Did he not catch it?
He
The
caught it.
referee ruled that it was a catch. But there are very few people on the planet that can make a throw like that. And I'm standing there with Pat Kerwin, okay, and Jim Miller, and I just got done telling them your line about there's always a few throws in a practice.
Did you credit me with that line, or did you just
No,
use
I
it?
used it as my own.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
But he makes the throw, and I turn to Jim and Pat, and I've known those guys a long time.
Yeah.
Jim was a teammate for a short period of time, and Pat and I go back to 1989 with the Jets. And these are the guys that do Sirius XM NFL radio.
That's right. We heard from Jim earlier. Yep.
And Pat and Jim both turn and look at me and go, so that's obviously one of the throws that you're talking about that he makes every practice. I'm like, yeah, that was one
That
of
counts.
them. Yeah, that was one of them. Put that one on the list. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow. Pat Kerwin was extremely impressed. And by the way, it was good catching up with those guys. Those two guys are good dudes.
They do a good job on the radio, too.
They do. They do a
Sirius
good job,
XM.
and they call me up every now and again to go on when the Jaguars are good, which hasn't been my phone hasn't been ringing much lately. But Pat was brought on board a long time ago because at the time when I was in New York, he was working at Hofstra in some capacity, and then eventually has a prominent role with the Jets, and then eventually did some stuff with Pete Carroll, and now he's doing radio. Good guy, great guy, and knows football.
Final thought in this segment here. The first depth chart came out, and there's always a lot of dissection of that first depth chart and what it means and who's in the and all these things. Now let's touch on offense. We'll get to defense coming up in just a little bit. I found it interesting that the running back room is James Robinson or Carlos Hyde.
Right.
And then it's Travis Etienne along with Ozigbo in the third unit, if you will, and then Ogunbowale and Cottrell at the very bottom. But the Robinson-Hyde or combo, I find that interesting.
First of all, Carlos Hyde's a veteran. Is he on par with James Robinson? No way.
He's an eighth-year pro.
No way.
I'll say he's in better shape than he was when he was here before.
He's in much better shape, and he's been good. Now he's been good wherever he's been, but
yeah, after here,
I'm just telling you, JP, he is not James Robinson. Okay. James Robinson is one of the better backs in the National Football League, and he's probably the fastest back to the line of scrimmage when the ball's snapped. And I'm talking about from the time the ball is snapped to the running back crossing the line of scrimmage. There's not anybody faster in the league than James Robinson. He doesn't waste any time. He plants and he's downhill fast. And James Robinson, to me, is the undisputed starter. And I think Etienne is not. And maybe, and I'm just thinking out loud here, if I was wanting to find a way to push Etienne, I might name Hyde and James Robinson as co-starters.
Okay, just to kind of, give him a little extra, huh?
Just to let him know that, hey, look.
You got some work to do.
Yeah. Or put them three, but putting them as behind the co-starters, maybe that'll give a little nudge. And I'm not saying that that was the intent there. But let me ask you a question.
Hit me.
How many little drop passes have we seen out of Travis Etienne in the last week?
Yeah, not many.
Oh, we have.
Have we?
Yes, we have. There's been a number of them, and that's part of the consistency I think that they want to see out of him.
Okay.
But still, don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be a dynamic player, and the guy has, I'm talking game-breaking speed. But you got to catch it before you can show the game-breaking speed. And he's had a little bit of drops, and that is something that I think his concentration, the consistency still got to be there. But I think he is going to be a really good one.
Yeah. He's got to earn it, though.
But the other co-starters, you got Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew as co-starters, and I've said this before. I mean, for me, it's Gardner Minshew is a good backup, and I think that Trevor Lawrence is clearly, as like we saw, and I made the comment to Pat today, and I'm not trying to say this to be mean, but that pass that Trevor Lawrence threw, the deep one, to Marvin Jones, if you gave Gardner Minshew the opportunity to try to make that throw 10 times, can he make it?
Can he make it 10 times?
No.
Can
If
he
you gave him 10 tries, can he
once?
make that throw one time out of 10?
I mean, I'd give him one. Yeah.
It would be hard.
It would be more difficult. Let's put it that way.
And I'm not trying to be critical. I'm trying to be real. I'm just saying that Trevor Lawrence was a a consensus #1 overall pick for a reason. The guy has special talent.
That's right. Lawrence has some arrows in the quiver that Minshew just doesn't have.
He just doesn't have. And there's nothing wrong with that because there might be things in Gardner Minshew's arsenal that Trevor Lawrence doesn't have. But that arm and the ability to make a throw like that's tremendous.
We'll come back in a moment, Logs. Defensive talk. I want to get your thoughts on the defensive line and a bunch of co-starters on defense in this depth chart, too.
Quite a few?
Oh, yes.
Quite a few, but I have opinions.
I'm sure you do, and we can't wait to hear them when we come back. If you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Titos Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat even after all these years. Head over to TitosVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. TitosVodka.com.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs. Drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Summer is the perfect time to update your home. It's the best savings of the year going on right now at Renewal by Anderson of Florida. Get 25% off replacement windows and patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. Find out more at rbafla.com. Renewal by Anderson, the official replacement window and door partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Offer expires August 31st. Restrictions apply. Minimum purchase of 3 windows or patio doors required. License number CGC 1527613.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. PRI Productions, the official event production company of the Jags, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com. And a busy schedule at Daly's Place. Lady A coming up August 20th. Chris Tomlin, Carrie Job, and the Bethel Music Tour September 3rd. Rod Wave September 9th. Sam Hunt September 10th. Late September and October are jam-packed with shows. Visit dailiesplace.com for tickets. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, glad you're along with us. Another hour coming up at 5 o'clock on the Jaguars radio network of Jaguars Happy Hour. Plenty of discussion of the quarterback competition for the Jaguars coming up. But first, Logs, let's get to the injury report. Presented by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Dylan Moses on the active non-football injury list. That feels like a longer-term situation, maybe a project at linebacker for Moses. Reserve COVID-19 list. Daniel Thomas still officially on. Taven Bryan was pulling some weight around behind him on the side today, it looked like, so he's on the way back. That's what Urban Meyer said, at least today, that maybe today is the last day to get him back off that list. And then Urban Meyer had some other updates this morning on players, a couple of guys out. DJ Chark, of course, with a finger fracture. He's out, and Meyer said earlier he should be ready for week 1. Left guard Andrew Norwell with an elbow issue. He will not play Saturday. Another couple of guys he mentioned, Rudy Ford, the safety, with a lower body issue. There's a chance he could play Saturday. And then wide receiver Philip Dorsett II with a hamstring tightness, possible to play on Saturday night. And he said, Logs, that everybody else is not listed here. Get ready to get some reps in.
Yeah, that's it's exciting because about this time in camp, you're just chomping at the bit to finally face somebody else. I mean, you're tired of going against the same old guys, and it gets a little monotonous, and you got to kind of fight through camp. But man, when you get to the first preseason game, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, now it's time. It's showtime. Let's go.
They've had some receivers kind of in and out the last week or so. They've had to sign some guys. So that was 4 or 5 days ago. So they've got a lot of receivers on the roster right now, and they're having to get a lot of reps. Let's talk defense now, Logs. And we were going before the break going through the depth chart of there's 3 different positions with co-starters going into preseason week 1. And this is one you mentioned a while back. Joe Schobert and Damian Wilson are listed as the starting Mike linebackers.
Well, and look, I think both of these guys are very capable. I think both of them are very capable at playing on first and second down. I think there might be a little bit of a slight edge to Joe Schobert once you get to third down. I think he has a little bit more speed. But, look, Joe Schobert's been a tackling machine for a long time, and Damian Wilson is physical. I mean, physical. He's bigger, he's more physical, and he has the scheme probably already imprinted in his brain because he's been in it before. So it's a good the more you have competition, just for example, the left tackle position with Cam Robinson and Walker Little. Competition is good, man, and the more you have it, the better off it's going to be. And I know there's a couple other positions at cornerback. There's a couple co-starters in Sidney Jones, who is a veteran guy coming back from an injury, and then the second-round pick Tyson Campbell, who he should be a Marvel superhero called the Shadow because the guy can run and he's right in the hip pocket of wide receivers playing man. I mean, he's that good.
The Shadow.
Seriously, that would be a cool name for him.
Is that copyrighted?
I don't think so, but we should rush out and do it real quick.
I think we could do that online right now.
No, but seriously, I think if I had to give him that good. I call him the Shadow because when I watched his college film, he was always right there, and when you watch him even out there now against higher end talent than what he faced in college, he's doing some of the same exact things that you watched him do in college, and he has elite speed, and the guys that can stay with somebody like when I call him Shadow, the guys that can't do that are the ones that don't have elite speed because they're always trying to make up for the lack of speed by maybe playing them a little bit more off. The guys that truly have elite speed, they're not worried about somebody running by them because they know they've got the speed to be able to make up and catch them. And that's what this young man Tyson Campbell has. He's a good one.
And now on the back end of the
doesn't
defense,
have ball skills. If there's a little bit of a weakness, that's the one area that he's got to work on.
Okay. When the ball's
when
in
I
the
say
air.
Doesn't have ball skills, ability to knock it down, but in some cases he's in position to where make a play on the ball and intercept it, which is what, like Andre Sisco, he's one of the best at it.
He's fantastic at it up at Syracuse. So, and the other position on the back end of the defense, free safety, Rayshon Jenkins is the starter, at least on the first depth chart. Strong safety, there are 4 co-starters. Josh Jones or Jared Wilson or Rudy Ford or Andre Sisco.
And that's a good battle. Jared Wilson's been the starter here for a number of years. Josh Jones has a very physical element to his game. Is a little bit of a liability, I think, in coverage sometimes. But if you're going to play him in the box, he might have a little bit of an advantage. And Rudy Ford's a physical guy. Cisco is eventually the heir apparent just because of his ball skills.
If he doesn't win it outright at the start of the year.
Well, but you remember now he's coming back from, I believe, an ACL. That's pretty significant injury that he had.
So what, he's been out there every day as far as
he has been, and a lot of guys that you see come back, and I've had an ACL, and it's not easy, and there are moments where you just don't feel normal. But when you watch him, you don't see any signs of him favoring that knee. So that's really good for the Jaguars from that standpoint.
Great news for sure. I'm curious, on Saturday night, it's our first chance to see Urban Meyer and the coaching staff in a live game situation. We always talk about the players and the way they do it between the white lines on the field, but the communication between coaches, I think, will be key. And Urban Meyer said today that Darrell Bevel will be in the booth this year, the offensive coordinator. Schottenheimer will be on the field, and he will communicate with the quarterback in the headset. Urban Meyer will be on the field, obviously, as well as part of that communication process. But having a veteran NFL coaching staff around the quarterback and around the offense was important for Urban Logs to really try to figure out how to handle a quarterback and how to handle some in-game communication and 2-minute drills and things like that are just different in the NFL than they are back in college.
I think this might have been one of the great strengths of Urban Meyer was putting the offensive staff together. What I'm talking about is the tandem of Bevel and Schottenheimer. If you didn't have two guys like that, then you'd want to make sure that you had the strongest voice on the sideline with your quarterback. Yeah. So, in other words, if you didn't have Schottenheimer, Bevel would probably stay on the sideline because you got to have somebody that can talk to a young quarterback. But with Schottenheimer, that gives you the luxury of, okay, now we have two people that can talk to the quarterback. One of them, and I'm sure that there's some type of an arrangement that they have worked out because you don't want to get two guys always in one in each ear to where it just becomes where Trevor Lawrence is sitting there going, oh, my gosh, okay, can both of you stop talking? Just let me hear one. And so, but when you watch him practice, Schottenheimer is the one who does a lot of the talking directly with Trevor Lawrence and with the quarterbacks and Bevel and make sure that he doesn't overimpose himself. So, and I like having coordinators in the booth. I think it detaches from the emotion of the game and allows them to be a strategic play caller.
Calm.
And I like that.
Very calm.
Very calm, out of the fray. But then some coaches like to be in the fray because they feel like they have to feel their team, feel their players, find out where they're at so that they have an understanding of what they want to do. But that's the responsibility also of the coaches on the field. But overall, this is all new for this coaching staff and Urban Meyer. So this is not only preseason for the players from a lot of standpoints, but this is also the preseason for a coaching staff that has a very nice blend of college and pro experience coaches.
Hey, Urban, you need to challenge this call. He's never had that in his headset before, really.
No, he's never had, and look.
You only have this many challenges left.
Urban's he's a smart guy.
Well, sure.
And smart guys figure things out. And if they can't figure something out, then they're going to ask for help. And Urban's able to call on lots of different people for help now. Okay, and perfect example is Jimmy Johnson was in the house, Hall of Famer, Jimmy Johnson. Congratulations to him. He was around this week, and that's what you do. I mean, if you don't know, then you ask questions so that you do know.
One other person in the house this week was somebody that head coach Urban Meyer met when he toured the Out East neighborhood earlier this year. Royce Fedd was his name, and he regularly cooks for the community on a small grill and for folks that are around in that neighborhood. It's just above the stadium here, above the Arlington Expressway. That's kind of the Out East neighborhood there. Well, Coach Meyer invited him to practice the other day, and then Coach Meyer, on behalf of Shad Khan and the organization, gave Royce a new grill. And not just a grill. This is a monster smoker, Logs. This thing was unbelievable.
First of all, it was great meeting Royce. I actually got to drive the side-by-side ATV, UTV, whatever you want to call it, and pull the grill out to them. They couldn't find a driver. The guy that was going to drive it.
If anybody has experience driving one of those, it's Jeff Lageman.
They're looking around and going, okay, wait, Lageman ought to know how to drive a side-by-side. He's a redneck. So they grab me, and I hop on it, and we drive it out there, and it was awesome. It was awesome to see the reaction. What a cool gesture that Urban Meyer and the organization had, and this is one heck of a cooker.
Let's come back in a moment. Jaguars Radio Network coverage begins. It's another hour of Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman. We'll hear from Shaq Griffin as well. This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Digital Network.
This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick provide the latest Jaguars news and what's happening around the NFL. Jaguars Happy Hour begins right now.
Welcome into another edition of Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday afternoon. It's preseason week 1, 7 o'clock Saturday night, TIAA Bank Field. The Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman. Training camp rolls along, but we are, 2 sleeping nights away from football logs, finally.
I think, what are they, 13, 14, 15 practices, something like that in a training camp?
They're about 13 today. That's right.
So players are ready to see somebody else, ready to see a different color uniform. And here's the thing. Training camp can be monotonous, even though training camp and a lot of the older players will, sit there and gripe and it's not what it used to be.
Back in my day.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do that because I think training camp.
Wait a minute, you always do that.
Well, no, I don't. Baselli does that all the time. You got me confused. Okay, because I'm all for the training camp schedule of modern day. I think it's wonderful, and I think it's the way it should have been even back into the day.
Could you have played another 4 or 5 years?
I don't know. I want to say that, but I think it's smart. Yeah. I mean, it's about getting the athletes ready and getting them healthy to the season and et cetera. And so I think it's smart.
Science has changed a little bit.
Yeah, it's totally different. But when you come out of camp, and here's where what you have to find out as an organization and as a coaching staff is that there are always guys that get to game day, and then they have a unique ability where, okay, they're here in practice, but then on game day, it goes to here. Okay,
you mean up? Yes,
it goes up. Yeah, that's right. This is radio.
This is radio. Last I checked,
it's not all visual. Yeah,
I saw it.
Out. Thank you, JP, for helping me out there. Yeah, they have ability to take it up a notch, and that there's some players that are consistent and really good in practice, but then when they get to the game, sometimes they take a step back or a step down in their performance. And so, as evaluators, you need to find out the old term, how guys react when the lights get bright. And that's actually literally because it's under the lights. It's a Saturday night game,
no doubt,
which is typically not the way it is in the National Football League because you're dealing with day games. But you do need to find out how some guys are. And I'll give you a perfect example. Years ago, the Jaguars had a wide receiver that was, I'm talking, lighting it up in practice as a punt returner. I mean, scary. I mean, like, wow, this guy's really good. He's going to be your punt returner this year. And then I'll never forget, you go to a game, and I'm watching him in pregame warm-up, and the eyes are like silver dollars, okay? And he can't. All of a sudden now he can't catch.
He's got the yips.
He can't catch a punt before the game in warm-ups.
I mean, I'd laugh. It's not that
he never
funny
dropped
for that
one
guy.
in the entire camp, but it was just like, oh my God! And now he's freaking. He's freaking out because it's game day.
Yeah.
Well, you got to find out. Make sure you don't have any of those guys.
Can you handle it or not? And it's a livelihood for these guys too. So I laugh, but it's not a joking matter. I mean, you're either going to stay in the league or you're not a lot of times.
I used to hate going against Leon Searcy in practice. Okay, who was one of the greatest right tackles to ever play the game in my era. I mean, he was dominant.
Yeah.
Played here as well. We got him as a free agent from Pittsburgh. Great right tackle.
We've heard of him, yeah.
Hitting Leon in practice was not fun. I didn't enjoy it at all. Because he was big, strong, physical. It hurt.
He couldn't play lighter. It was not his thing, even in warm-ups.
But
like
game
practice.
day,
Yeah.
when I went against Leon on game day, it wasn't a big deal. Because in my mind, it was now it's game day. Okay, now it's time to go. It's different. And so you got to find guys that can get to game day and either maintain where they're at in practice or that they can elevate their level of play when it comes game time.
Let's hear from Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer. He spoke with the media this morning before practice, the first before-practice media availability for the head coach in this training camp. The big storyline this week, who plays at quarterback? Who starts at quarterback for the Jaguars this Saturday night? He didn't have an answer this morning.
Well, we'll finalize that tonight. I asked Shadi and Bevan, but they'll both play. A lot of it's who's going to be behind. We just want to make sure we have protect both those quarterbacks, but both will play.
All right, so both will play. Didn't have an answer yet of who would run out first. Both will play. How long? Didn't have an answer for that either. But Trevor Lawrence was asked a similar question after practice today. The number 1 overall pick says he doesn't really think about how much time he's going to play on Saturday night.
Yeah, I know I'm going to play, so that's just – if I know I'm going to play, I'm going to be prepared, and that's the way I'm looking at it. So how much, don't really know for sure. Sure a fair amount, so just going to be ready for whatever I have. I know me and Gardner will play.
Hey, Trevor, here's the football. Go on out and take some snaps, do some things, and, throw 3 or 4 of those balls like you do every practice and go back on the sideline. That's how it is going to be on Saturday night.
And I don't – earlier, me and Joe were in here. And by the way, did you know it's Joe Fortunato's birthday today?
I did not
right,
know
I
that.
Bring it up, okay?
Joe
our own very own Joe
Fortunato,
Fortunato, it's his birthday today.
manager of
bring
radio.
That up real quick, okay? Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe. I did not know
Me and
that.
Joe were in here, and we're watching Trevor Lawrence talk. We got it up on the TV, and we're watching it. And what impressed me was not so much what he said in reaction to the questioning about how much you're going to play and what do you expect to play, but it was his overall composure and the way he handles himself, period, in front of the media. This is a very special player, not only because of his physical skill set, but because of his maturity. And you have to have that composure on the field and off the field to be able to play the position at this level. And he is ready for it. And I mean ready for it in a big way, because it's a joy to watch him and how he handles himself in practice, JP. And it's a joy and a pleasure to see how he handles himself behind the microphone.
Gardner Minshew has made an impression on Urban Meyer as well. And Urban admitted it today that he didn't really know much. He didn't know Gardner really at all. He knew his college coach from the older days, but maybe had an idea of him. But since he's been around him this offseason, the way Gardner has approached this competition, if you will, and his day-to-day work, he's not just rolling over. He's going out there. He's doing the best he can. And I think that's made a nice impression on Urban Meyer, Lugs.
Well, he's putting his best out there, and that's what you want. And the reality is that many people thought from the outside, okay, Jacksonville selects Trevor Lawrence number 1 overall. He's going to be your starter. Well, the Jaguars signed C.J. Beathard in the offseason and gave him some guaranteed money.
They did.
So there's going to be a competition for the number 2.
Correct.
Well, in Minshew's mind, he's still competing for the starting job, as he
so
alluded to not long ago,
so
and it wasn't exactly in the
we'll
terms that I would
be.
like to have it
be.
expressed in. But look, he's competing. And he is, in my opinion, I think he is head and shoulders above C.J. Beathard, which many people – look, the Jaguars wouldn't have given C.J. Beathard guaranteed millions to come in here and to be a number 3, to be on practice squad, right? And Minshew has outperformed him. And so credit to him. Is he outperforming Trevor Lawrence? There's things, again, that Trevor Lawrence can do that Minshew cannot just do. But Gardner Minshew is playing very well, and he has picked up the system pretty well. And I think he is a very good backup quarterback for this football team. But Trevor Lawrence, make no mistake about it, in my mind, that's the guy. I mean, that's the first overall pick in the draft. I mean, it's obviously I don't want to be Captain Obvious here.
But I think you are. I think you just stepped into that role.
Okay,
that's fine.
Let me get a captain's hat.
There are worse things.
Stand on a chair with my knee propped up.
Let's come back in just a moment. Plenty ahead.
And Jimmy Johnson, cool visit with him out on the football field yesterday.
That's coming up in just a moment. We will. That's a great tease, Logs. We'll discuss Jimmy Johnson's recently enshrined
Hall of Famer.
He is. Plenty ahead, some position battles on offense and plenty of them on defense. A little later, we'll hear from Shaquille Griffin as well, Jaguars cornerback. We're off and running. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs. Drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Veterans, you may have earned a variety of VA benefits. Did you know VA can help you further your education and pursue professional training? The Home Loan Guarantee Program can help you buy, repair, or adapt a home. VA provides housing support if you find yourself homeless or at risk of homelessness. And don't forget world-class health care. Learn more about these and other VA benefits. Visit choose.va.gov.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network on this Thursday of preseason week 1. The Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns coming up Saturday night, 7 o'clock at TIAA Bank Field. Should be a nice crowd on hand for the debut of Trevor Lawrence. Well, we'll see if he runs out first. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, no answer to that today from the Jaguars head coach. Maybe we'll get an inkling of that before kickoff on Saturday, if not a little earlier than that tomorrow. This is, here we are, finally. I cannot believe that this summer is gone, and now real football games are here. Well, preseason games are here. We're still a month away from today. A month from today to the regular season beginning. It's a long time to go, but we're in the thick of it now. Here we are.
Yeah, and now as you start to kind of get primed and ready for the season, you had the Hall of Fame game last week, the Hall of Fame inductions.
Did you watch the Hall of Fame game?
I didn't. I'm more of a fan of the induction speeches than I am the game because that's kind of a throwaway game. The teams that end up getting in there, they don't play a lot of guys because it's an extra preseason game. But I'm a big fan of the induction speeches, which I thought were tremendous this year. I'm glad they limited the time.
Yeah, but 2 nights of them too. I mean, it was great. Yeah, both classes.
It's great, and I'm a big fan of the game. NFL Films guy, can't get enough of that stuff, and so for me, that's the importance of that. But it's kind of just it's a sign in that the season is close and it's not far away, and obviously with the Jaguars having a new era in this organization, the excitement level from everybody that I talk to around the city it's awesome, and I'm as excited as I've ever been for this football team because I think I'm excited about where this team can go because now you have a quarterback, you got a coach, you got some improvements on the roster, got a good coaching staff, and so I'm looking forward to seeing it in action. And this is where it begins, is on Saturday. And the winning or the losing part of it is not always that important. For me in the preseason, it's about what you see. Because when you're matching up, like, for example, what did the Cleveland Browns coach say this week, Kevin Stefanski?
The starters ain't going anywhere near TIAA Bank Field.
Okay, so if he's not playing his guys and all of a sudden the Jaguars play their guys and they come out and they dominate and they win, I mean, yeah, you like the fact that they won, but starters maybe versus non-starters, if the Jaguars play their starters, I mean, so does it have that much meaning? No, so everything's relative, but you want to win at what you do, which means you want to look good and perform good. And it's not, and in some cases, you can't have it be dependent upon what the opponent does because you can't control what they do.
That's right. And now we've heard of coaches in the past that fight tooth and nail to get a winning result in preseason games too.
Tom Coughlin, 1995. I mean, fourth quarter, I was done playing for quarter and a half or whatever, and the game comes down to the wire. And he says, "You ready to go back in?" I had my tape off, shoulder pads loosened up, and I hadn't played in probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And I was like, "Really? You want me to go back in?" I said, "Like, I will." I said, "But I'm cold as ice." So, but anyway, I mean, it's different for everybody. Winning is important, but at the end of the day, it's about preparation towards the season opener.
And Urban made that exact point today. There's a lot of people that say, how's he going to handle losing games and all that? He knows, at least in the preseason, what he's getting into. You don't have to go – you try to go win the games, yes. The result of the game is not what it's about. It's everything, making sure everybody plays with that – the +2 mentality he talks about, 4 to 6, A to B. That way they can work on the coaching staff later if they need to adjust some things. So play with that, keep it simple, go out and follow your plan. That's really the idea.
And that's what you want. And you want them to look organized. You want them to be have attention to detail.
You
want to see guys playing fast.
Run on and off the field was another thing he talked about. He's had that in practice too. I mean, yes. So
for me, I put the importance of having a guy perform better than how he runs on and off the field.
That's part of it. It wasn't like number one on the list.
I get it, though. I totally get it, though.
That's part of it. But, working the communication from the booth down to the field, that's all part of this process for Urban Meyer.
Yeah, and by the way, do you want to talk Jimmy Johnson real quick?
Well, yeah, we can. Let's do it now.
I'm just real quick on Jimmy Johnson. He was out there yesterday, I believe it was.
That's right.
And did he talk to the team? I don't know if he did or not.
He spoke with the team later in the afternoon inside. They had a team meeting, and he talked about kind of don't have the full detail, but it was more about motivation and getting players going in the old days of the Cowboys and that group and how the locker room really ran that organization down in Dallas and kept things going.
Well, they demanded, and they held guys accountable, and that's what Michael Irvin did, and that's what Troy Aikman did, and Daryl Johnston, Mark Stepnoski. I mean, that's what those guys did. But, my first experience with Jimmy Johnson was in 1989. Jimmy was still the coach at the University of Miami in January. And Jimmy was the assistant coach of the East squad of the East-West Shrine game in Palo Alto, California, and I was on the East squad. Our head coach was Mike Gottfried from the University of Pitt.
Yeah.
And so that's where I first met Jimmy. And we had a really good roster. I think we had 8 or 9 first-round picks on that roster, on that field, on that day. And some of the names you'll actually kind of laugh at because one of them is Jay Gruden.
Okay.
Jay Gruden was on my team.
How about that?
Burt Grossman, a first-round pick.
Yep.
Was on that roster. Daryl Johnston.
Moose.
Eric Hill, first-round pick of the Cardinals. Andre Rison.
Wow.
Was on that squad.
Okay, that's a while ago.
Brian Williams, first-round pick of the Giants. David Williams, who was a high first-round pick for the Houston Texans. Joe Wolf, first-round pick of the Cardinals as well that year. I mean, we had a lot of first-round picks on that year, but Jimmy Johnson was awesome. And I credit Jimmy for helping me get drafted in the first round. Because Jimmy was the one who played me. I was an inside linebacker at college. And at the East-West Shrine game, Jimmy played me at outside linebacker, inside linebacker, and then late in the game, we were winning. He put me in at defensive tackle and nose tackle, and I pass rushed. It was awesome.
You've probably never done that before.
Well, no, I was
rarely.
And that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, Jimmy was like, "Hey, can you want to go do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm ready to go. Let's go. We're winning. This is awesome." But he was a great coach to be around, and then through the years, I've got to obviously get to know him, and Mark Stepnoski and Daryl Johnson, who were on our team, they ended up drafting him in that draft class. So, and then Howie Long, who I have a relationship with, he's a Him and he has a good friend, Bill Piquel, who was roommates of mine when I was with the Jets, and so kind of a cool little association there. And it was good to talk to him yesterday.
Now, I'm going to be very careful with this comparison because not many teams in NFL history will be as overpowering as those early 90s Cowboys teams were, 92, 93.
That offensive line was unbelievable.
When they finally got it together. But the creation of that group has a similar feel to the game or things that are here, the situation here. 1-15 record the first year. Had a high draft pick, of course. They got a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of free agency money here. There, they made the big trade to get all the players back and those picks back, and it took them a couple more years to kind of get right. But in 3 years' time, they're winning the Super Bowl.
The trade, I think, is obviously. First of all, Jimmy Johnson would have, regardless of the trade, I think Jimmy would have eventually gotten them to a Super Bowl title. But the trade expedited things.
Yeah.
It gave them the tools to be able to quickly address the roster and upgrade the roster.
Yeah.
And he drafted, him and Jerry Jones drafted very good in the early years of the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, so far so good here. It feels like the free agency additions have been at least solid in training camp so far, and the draft picks that we've talked to and that we've seen on the field, let's see them in some real games. But
sure.
It's going to take a little time.
Right now,
evaluate.
all signs are looking good, and you still have to be able to see it, and you got to get the games to get an evaluation. But right now, you feel pretty good about where they're at.
Let's come back in a moment. Our final thoughts, the Jaguars and the Browns. We'll be here till 6 o'clock tonight on Jaguars Happy Hour. Plenty ahead on Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight.
Liftoff.
When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets, undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word: iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour as the Jags prepare for a preseason Week 1 matchup Saturday against the Cleveland Browns. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, glad you're along with us. Looking forward to this one Saturday night. Coach Jeff Lageman.
This my coaching hat?
This is your coaching hat you have on right now.
I like it.
The preseason has shrunk from 4 games to 3 games. How long will the starting offense play Saturday night?
Well, I think it's going to be a case-by-case basis on substitution. But, I mean, as a group, all the guys will be out there. I would expect maybe 2 series, the starting group.
And then maybe a couple guys peel off.
Yeah, then you peel some guys off that they're fine, they're ready, they're in year 8 or, year 9. We don't need to know about that guy. We know he can play. But there's guys that you want to get more work because they need to get better. And that's okay. That's okay. But, it'll be – I think it's going to be fun. First of all, what was the stadium capacity last year?
It's 25%.
Yeah, it was 25%, and so it's going to be good to hear that stadium being loud again.
Yeah, right.
And I know that a lot of people are still cautious. I understand it, but outdoors, that's a good thing, and so it's going to be fun to kind of get the feel of it all coming back. It's been a while.
It has been a little while, yes. Defensively, Joe Cullen's not going to show much of anything, is he? The defensive coordinator?
I don't think either coordinator would be wise to open up the entire playbook, because even though there's a book on Darrell Bevell. He's been in a coordinator before,
sure
correct?
He has, yes, a long time.
But is there a book on Darrell Bevell with Schottenheimer as an offensive coordinator and Urban Meyer as the head coach?
No.
Because so now you have a little bit of the unknown for people that are going to be competing against the Jaguars. So you want to be a little conservative as far as how much of your game plan you actually let out of the bag, so to speak. And defensively, it's no different. Okay, you have Joe Cullen, but you also have other people that are influencing that defensive game plan. And so when you have the chemistry of different guys with Joe, why would you want to show everybody what you got? So I think there's going to be, I don't want to say completely vanilla, but there will be basic type of things revealed in the preseason, and some of your better stuff you may end up holding until you get to the regular season to keep that element of surprise.
Cullen said the other week that they have ideas of so many different packages, blitzing packages, personnel. You could have 5 guys up front. You could have all these dime package and all the guys coming from all over corners, blitzing. I like that. Let's go. We're not going to see that this week. But
I think that's the one thing that people will notice when you watch, and you may not see it in the preseason, but I think once you get to the regular season, that's the one thing I think that will be very apparent and will stick out. When Joe Cullen and the coaches talk about, and Charlie Strong talk about their defense being multiple, they keep using that word multiple. Mm-hmm. Multiple means that it's hard to identify what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And so that's the element of surprise. And they have a lot of players that they are cross-training for different positions. So Smoot might be able to play defensive end, defensive tackle, and stand-up linebacker. Well, when he's in the huddle and you're a coordinator and you're looking at what they have in there to match up to your offense, you're thinking, well, I'm not sure what they're going to run because he can play tackle, defensive end, be a stand-up linebacker. So the ability to be multiple means that you could possibly confuse an offensive coordinator and keep them unsure as to exactly what the scheme is that you're going to run to create confusion. So that's good. But as I said before, I think you're going to have a little bit of a holding back of all of your schemes. So you won't be able to say, oh, man, that Jaguars defense, they're doing all kinds of crazy things. And in the preseason, you probably won't get that feel, but once it gets to the regular season, I think you will. And let me just add this real quick because I never thought that I would meet a defensive line coach that's louder than Joe Cullen.
Tosh Lapoy.
He is way louder than Joe Cullen has ever been.
Really?
Tosh is intense. I mean, intense. Loud and intense. It's like, and the crazy thing is that he went to high school with Mojo.
Maurice Jones-Drew is here this week and with NFL Network, and I think he's going to be going to London with the team in an off-the-field capacity, and that's down the line a little bit. But, yeah, Maurice Jones-Drew said that Tosh Lapoy used to stuff him in lockers back in the old days.
Yeah, because he was like 3 or 4 years older, right. And he said he was mean and stuffing him in the lockers.
Pretty good.
And it was funny because on the field, me and you and Mojo are standing there, and we're just talking and we're watching practice, and Mojo's telling some stories about Tosh, and Tosh is, I mean, he's intense, and they're hitting the bags, they're getting after it, and he's yelling and and all of a sudden Mojo sees Tosh going by and he goes, hey Tosh, and Tosh is like, all intense and hollering, and he goes, hey Mojo. Like, how did you just turn that off? And then as soon as he says, hey Mojo, Then he goes right back to, no. You're like, oh, my God.
Just flip the switch. Just turn it off and on.
I mean, it was just funny because it was like literally like somebody flipped the switch and like crazy coach, and then there's that normal guy who can say hi for a second. But it was cool.
It's funny. And one final thought, while we're on the defensive line topic here, this defensive front is much different than it was. It's completely different than it was.
Well, I think it's improved. I mean, free agency has certainly helped you address that, and thank goodness you had free agency. Otherwise, it might have been a lengthy rebuild.
It was priority one on defense for Urban Meyer, too.
Well, as it should have been. And Devon Hamilton's looked good. Robertson Harris has looked good. Malcolm Brown, I think, has looked good. And the outside linebackers that can cross as also defensive ends look good. So, look, this is not going to be a group that all of a sudden garners 50-plus sacks in a season. I'm not saying that.
Because they had 18 officially last year.
But I don't want to say guarantee. I can promise you one thing. They will be, Joe always uses the term relentless. They will play hard. And I mean, they will play really hard, and they're more talented now. So if you combine the two, a little more talent, and then being, using Joe's term, relentless, you got a chance to be better than you were. And I think this defense will be much improved to the surprise of many.
Logs, great stuff. We will look forward to Saturday night.
Yeah, man, Saturday night. What time's kickoff? 7?
7 o'clock. We'll be on the air on the network at 6 o'clock, and then Public's Tailgate Show on our flagship station here in Jacksonville at 4 o'clock. That's the Public's Tailgate Show on 1010XL. But, yeah, so here we are. 4 o'clock start, 6 o'clock.
Looking forward to it.
Countdown to kickoff, 7 o'clock, they'll tee it up.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to enjoy listening to you for the rest of the show.
Okay. I'll talk to you on Saturday.
I'm looking forward to it.
There's Jeff Lageman, Jaguars analyst, joining us back in a moment. More of a game preview. We'll hear from Shaquille Griffin, Trevor Lawrence ahead as well. And this is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Everyone's so busy keeping up. Forget about the Joneses. We all on our telephones with the texts and the tweets and the beats. What he said, she said, can't even follow the thread. Down the hole, we all go. Me, I like keeping up too, with my Corona and my attitude. That's La Vida Más Fina.
Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network ahead of preseason week 1. The Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up Saturday night, 7 o'clock at TIAA Bank Field. We're a month away, today in fact, 1 month away from the regular season opener. Week 1, the Jaguars will be down in Houston to face the Texans. Then week 2 here in Jacksonville to face the Denver Broncos. A lot of time left for things to happen on and off the field for the Jags, and we'll find out Saturday night, at least the first step in that progression. So the Browns come in, and Kevin Stefanski, the head coach there, said they're not going to really play any starters at all Saturday night. No Odell Beckham Jr., no Myles Garrett, Baker Mayfield, no chance he'll be on the field. Case Keenum will likely get the majority of the early time in the game at quarterback. Nick Chubb will not touch the field either. Those are just a few names. But you might see some guys like first-round pick cornerback Greg Newsome II out of Northwestern, the second-round linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the Butkus Award winner last year, and the ACC Defensive Player of the Year. He was out of Notre Dame, the one-year run in the ACC for Notre Dame. He did win the Defensive Player of the Year and was a very good player for the Irish over the last couple of seasons. We'll get a good look at those guys, the early draft picks for the Browns. But the regular starters from a playoff team a year ago, I'm curious if they even get on the plane and come down here. That's another conversation depending on the organization. Some guys might not even go on the long trip down to Jacksonville. Some guys might just to be a part of the sideline and communication and help out some of the younger guys. Not sure exactly what the Browns have in mind there. Urban Meyer, on the other hand, has in mind reps for pretty much everybody that doesn't have some kind of injury. At least he said as much today. We'll see what tomorrow brings with another kind of walk-through feel tomorrow. There are a few guys on the injury report today. You know, there's Dylan Moses is still on an active non-football injury list. That feels like a longer-term solution. Daniel Thomas, Taven Bryan still on the reserve COVID-19 list today. Andrew Norwell dealing with a minor elbow issue. He's back at practice, but they're probably going to hold him out. Urban Meyer said that earlier today. DJ Chark will not play. He had surgery on his middle finger on his right hand, so he is out for this week. Urban Meyer said that he should be ready for week 1 against the Houston Texans. Rudy Ford and Philip Dorsett dealing with their own injuries in the lower body, but there is a chance they could play on Saturday against the Browns. Other than that, Urban Meyer said that everybody else will likely get some reps. He wasn't ready to say how long the first team would play on offense or who the quarterback would be to start the game, but both Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew will play Saturday night. When we come back, we'll hear from Trevor Lawrence about the opener of the preseason coming up Saturday night at TIAA Bank Field. We'll hear from the quarterback. We'll hear from Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator, as well. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone, like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer, all named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few, they're built for America. Ford SUVs, drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Have you painted yourself for game day and dyed your pet's fur to match? Do you bleed your team's colors and deck your pet out in team gear? Do you plan game day watch parties for fellow sports lovers and their beloved pets? Then you are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and die-hard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
At ViStar, we believe in better. Better convenience, so members can bank any way they want. Whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 surcharge-free ATMs across North America. Because we believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
Welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour continues. The Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns coming up Saturday night at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. JP Shadrick with you here on Jaguars Happy Hour. Joe Fortunato on the audio side. If you're watching on video on Jags Social, Brent Reber at the controls there. Trent Padilla with the editing earlier today. Glad you're along with us. And let's get into the Jaguars quarterback situation. We heard from Urban Meyer early today before practice. And he wasn't ready to name a starter yet for tomorrow. He said both would play. He also was asked by Hayes Carline of 1010XL here in Jacksonville, is there a chance that Trevor Lawrence is not the starter on week 1 against Houston? And is it a real competition? He said, Urban Meyer said yes. That's out there. It's a month ahead of opening or kickoff weekend. There's a lot of time between now and September 12th, 1 month in fact. And let's see how the preseason goes and all that. But Meyer also said that both Lawrence and Minshew will get time in Saturday night's game against the Browns. And throughout this training camp, the storyline has been, or in the offseason, really, back in the offseason program, how is Trevor Lawrence adapting to the offense? We know he had a pretty good look at it before the draft. That was allowed. You could give some of the playbook to prospects. Well, he probably got a little bit more than that, knowing that at least in hindsight, the Jaguars were going to take him first overall. He might have had a little bit of a head start on it. That's a good thing. Got into the offseason program. It continued to progress. And then once training camp started, the first week or so, first few days went pretty well. And then about day 6 or 7, there were some very minor hiccups in terms of alignments and things on the offensive side. Since then, they've reviewed a lot of that, and we'll hear from Darrell Bevell coming up in a moment. But so far, so good for Trevor Lawrence, who we heard from after practice today, the Jaguars quarterback, on learning this offensive scheme and how it's gone so far.
I feel good. I feel like I've come a long way, especially in camp, of just owning it and knowing where my answers are and being able to make adjustments. I think that's the biggest thing, transitioning from college to the NFL, is like you're going to see a bunch of different looks, and it's really about how you respond and adjust it to put you in a good situation. And that's something I just had to learn, and I've gotten a lot better at the past few weeks. And I feel good about where I'm at and where the offense is. There's still a long ways to go, but we're making progress for sure.
Good spot now for the offense. The next big step is Saturday night. See how some guys perform under the lights for the first time, Lawrence included. He's played under some big lights in his past. There's really not much doubt that he'll be able to handle that part of things. But there's a lot of guys on this offense that have not been on a stage such as this before. Even though it is a preseason game, you don't find out until things get real. Let's hear from the offensive coordinator now, Darrell Bevell, on Trevor Lawrence and his grasp of the offense.
Trevor's done well. There was 2 days in there. We moved him back a little bit, and I think he responded. I think it's like I've told you guys, he's really into it. It's really super important to him. He's working hard every day. Brian Schottenheimer's doing a hell of a job with him, so he's in good hands that way. But the last couple days, like the last 4, you could kind of see him continue to make that climb again.
That's Darrell Bevell earlier this week. He mentioned Brian Schottenheimer, who is the passing game coordinator officially for the Jaguars, but he will have Lawrence's ear and has had it throughout the offseason program and into training camp now, and he'll be the ear in his helmet on game day with Darrell Bevell up in the booth upstairs calling the plays in a calmer environment. But we've been beside some booths in the past that aren't so calm when things aren't going so well, but that's another story altogether. Either way, it's a clear look from atop the playing field for the offensive coordinator, with Schottenheimer down on the field along with Urban Meyer, all in the conversation together to get it to Lawrence or the quarterback that's out there. So far, so good for Lawrence. And as we've always said, at least in the last few weeks here, it feels like there's 3, 4, 5 throws of practice that nobody else in that field can make. And there were a couple more of those today, including one about 40 or 45 yards down the field to Marvin Jones-Jr., who made a nice diving catch, but it was right on the money. Beautiful throw. And Gardner Minshew, to his credit, had another very solid day today as well. But in the red zone today, Trevor Lawrence was exceptional. I think he was counted by some reporters out there as 6 of 6 in the red zone today and throwing in some tight windows. And just, it was a really good day. Now, they were in pads today, a little lighter day of work for the Jags. but still positive signs for this Jags offense. Let's see what they roll out on Saturday night. How long will the starters go? Will it be a couple drives, as Jeff Lageman thought earlier on this program tonight, for the starters to maybe start peeling off a guy here or there if you know what they are, like a Brandon Linder. You don't need to play him 3 quarters in a preseason game. You know what he is. Tyler Shatley can go in there and play well in his absence. With some other parts of that offensive line, you may not be as fully confident in what could come in after the starting line. So if that's the case, then maybe you make some changes at quarterback because of the changes that you make up front. Curious to see, though, Saturday night how it all plays out for Urban Meyer. His first chance under the lights in the NFL to call a game and be on the sideline and go through the situational part of the NFL game, 2-minute challenge flags, everything that goes with it, the communication. This should be a really fun night on Saturday night. And we're coming back in a moment with a really fun conversation with Shaquille Griffin, Jaguars cornerback. He came over in free agency. It's a preview of our conversation that will air Saturday night on the Publix Tailgate Show on our flagship station, 1010XL in Jacksonville. Good talk with Shaq Griffin when we come back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hold on. You want me to tell them about Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea in just 30 seconds? This is impossible. Hey, I'm Billy from Twisted Tea. How can I explain that first sip of cold, smooth, real brewed tea? So good! And the extra kick you get from just the right amount of alcohol? The twist of lemon, Wait, what? We're almost out of time? Oh, shit. Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Look for the bright yellow cans wherever you buy beer.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
That sound is every driver's worst fear. How much will the repairs cost? Is it your engine, your transmission, or worse? A car breakdown could cost you thousands to repair, but not if you have CarShield. CarShield administrators pay your claims directly to the mechanic or dealer of your choice, saving you time and money. Call CarShield today before your next breakdown. Call 800-471-1223, 800-471-1223.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the print services you need for your business. Need large banners and signs for your next promotional event? How about vehicle wraps to advertise your company fleet? Find out for yourself how Kessler Creative can help you stand out from the competition with eye-catching designs that are sure to impress your customers. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. Jaguars Happy Hour continues. JP Shadrick, our thanks to Jeff Lageman as he joins us each and every week here on the program. And we're with you every Thursday on Jaguars Happy Hour throughout the 2021 season. A couple of exemptions on that, like Thanksgiving. I think we won't have a show, but that's on down the line. That's November. We're here now for the preseason. The Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns coming up this Saturday at 7 o'clock at TIAA Bank Field. One more update today. First downtown Jacks.com, the number one ST downtownjacks.com, tweeting a moment ago that about an hour ago now, the Downtown Development Review Board unanimously approved designs for the Sports Performance Center, and the project will move to a final design review in October. That's a little bit away, but coming up fairly quick, and the First Downtown folks said that they appreciate the feedback and look forward to continuing the process. That includes the football building and the stands on one side that, if you've seen the renderings, they look fantastic for training camp and some other events that could be on the Jaguars practice facility in the future. So check it out, firstdowntownjacks.com, the number one ST downtownjacks.com for the latest renderings and any news updates there on the downtown development around TIAA Bank Field. Well, part of the development in the locker room this year was the addition of free agent cornerback Shaquille Griffin. He had a number of good years out in Seattle. He's from the University of Central Florida, of course, UCF Knights from down the road, and now back in the state of Florida, a third-round pick of the Seahawks back in 2017. We caught up for a pregame interview that will air in full on Saturday. Here is a portion of it. How is training camp so far? How is Camp Meyer so far?
Oh, man, it's been amazing. The competition has been absolutely crazy. And, he's given exactly what he said he was going to give us. He said it's going to be tough. His sun's going to be out. It's going to be hot. It's going to be some adversity. And everything that he's saying, we're seeing. And, you get a chance to see who's really ready to play, who's really ready to fight through whatever situation we might face. And it's awesome because I feel like these type of practices in this camp, we need it. It starts to show who's really going to be able to put everything on the line when it comes down to it. So, this camp has been definitely different and new for me, but well needed.
I find it interesting watching Urban Meyer before practice. He's usually the first guy out on the practice field. His switch is turned on every day to get this thing going. But he always seems to try to have a personal moment with most every guy he can out there before practice. I think there's a real connection, at least early, with the head coach and the coaching staff here for a lot of these players, and I'm sure you're included in that.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And I feel like one thing that he does, too, he get a chance to look people in their eyes, directly in the face and kind of see what type of energy they bring. Sometimes you can see it, sometimes you can feel it, and I think that's when he get a chance to really talk to people one-on-one. One thing he always tell me is, Shaq, what do you got every day? And my response is whatever you need. And that's just keeping me in tune to myself, what I got to do for the day, what I got to work on, how important it is, my craft, working hard, giving effort. It's just a little reminder. And I think that's the type of things he try to in tune to people and try to engrave, continue to say, speak that positive self-talk, positive energy, getting people prepared. And, most coaches don't take the time to do that, so that's big for us.
Shaquille Griffin with us, Jaguars cornerback on the Publix Tailgate Show. Shaq, this unit going out to practice every day, before you walk on the practice field, everybody gathers to the side. It doesn't seem like you guys run out there on your own. How close has this defensive back room become over the last 3-4 months?
Oh, man, really close. I actually got a chance to train with some of the guys, we broke from OTAs, getting a chance to continue to train with them C guys and come back and continue the same grind. And, we get a chance to huddle up, right before practice, just like I said, to get everybody, focused, back in tune, understand what we got to work on. And we get a nice little break, getting that bond together. That's how tight we have to be. So we continue to focus on that. We're still trying to build off that. I feel like we just getting started, but, man, these past 4 months has been amazing. We've been getting closer, getting a chance to hang out with each other, understand, where everybody come from, their living, understand the families they're trying to feed. I want to battle with those guys. I want to fight for the guys, whatever it takes to make sure they're taking care of their family. I want to be able to do that. So that's the type of bond we're trying to build, that family group.
Shaquille Griffin, a fantastic addition to this Jaguars locker room, it feels like, after a few conversations with him in the offseason. And I think the fan base has taken to him in the times they've been out at training camp practice earlier in camp. He always stays late. He's always throwing footballs to the fans. He's grabbed the microphone a time or two to the speakers out there and has given his own Duval chants and all that. But most importantly, he's going to be a very good football player, it feels like, for this Jaguars defense at the cornerback position. The full conversation will air Saturday evening on the Public Tailgate Show on 1010XL Radio in Jacksonville, our flagship station. Our network coverage will begin at 6 o'clock. We can also catch that early show on @Jaguars on social media. The Jaguars Twitter account and YouTube pages will carry that show live, so you can hear what Shaq Griffin plans to do after his first interception with the team, and it involves some fans in the stands if it's here in Jacksonville. Let's come back in a moment. We'll preview Saturday night's broadcast schedule on TV and radio, and this is Jaguars Happy Hour on Jaguars Radio.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Fans like you have been told that going all out is going too far. But fans like you know better. You're the kind of fan who loves the team as much as your pet, who paints yourself for game days and dyes your pet's fur to match. You are a rare breed. You are a pet fanatic, equal parts pet obsessed and diehard sports fan. At Pet Paradise, they're crazy about pets too. The official pet care provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pet Paradise. It's a new day in pet care.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. So we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Like Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer. All named 2021 IIHS top safety picks with specific headlights. One of the many reasons why Ford has the freshest lineup of SUVs in America. Because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford SUVs. Drive one today. When equipped with available LED headlamps based on AutoSource Incorporated data obtained on 10520.
Welcome back. Final moments of Jaguars Happy Hour on this Thursday afternoon. JP Shadrick with you. Jeff Lageman with us earlier. Our thanks to Shaquille Griffin. You'll hear the full conversation Saturday afternoon on the Publix Tailgate Show in Jacksonville on 1010XL Radio. You can also catch it on @Jaguars on Twitter. The @Jaguars account. We'll have that show live. And, of course, our network coverage will begin at 6 o'clock. Ahead of the 7 o'clock kickoff time. I believe 7:07 is the official kickoff time on Saturday night. And we'll have it for you right here on the Jaguars Radio Network. It's also on television, CBS 47 in Jacksonville and the Jaguars Television Network throughout the Southeast. 7 o'clock is the on-air time there. Brian Sexton and Bucky Brooks will have the call. Brett Martineau down on the field, of course, here on the Jaguars Radio Network. Frank Frangie, Jeff Lageman, who you heard tonight, and Tony Baselli. You might have heard of him. The pride of the Jaguars left tackle will have the call. Rick Ballou is on the sideline. Me and myself and Mike Dempsey will be on the pregame program on Countdown to Kickoff coming up this Saturday night. And here we are, finally, training camp, couple weeks in. We're finally in to the preseason. And we have only 3 games in the preseason this year and then a 2-week hiatus before the regular season. We are a month away from the regular season beginning in the National Football League, and football's right around the corner. Excited to see what the Jags have in store Saturday night. Trevor Lawrence should make his debut. Will he start? Who knows? Does it matter? He's going to play. So will Gardner Minshew, and we'll all be there. Hopefully you'll join us here on the Jaguars Radio Network. We'll catch you next time. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Radio Network.